How's it going, man?
Pretty good.
Cool. Whoa! Hey, isn't that ChinaOBrien over there? She's driving by.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, China.
Hey! Hey, what's up?
China.
O'Brien.
Matt!
Hey! It is you.
Like she didn't recognize me.
It's been 6 years, right?
Uh-huh. I'm back for a while.
Good. You staying with your father?
Uh-huh.
I'll call you tonight.
Okay!
Alright, I told China I'd give her a call. I've always had a huge crush on her.
Well, me too, man.
Sheriff O'Brien's residence.
Hello, my name's Matt. I'm calling for ChinaOBrien. Is she there?
Some man named Matt says you talked to him this afternoon. Are you in?
Hi, Matt.
Hi, China. So good to hear your voice. Hey, you want to go to a movie with me tonight? There's a TIG double feature playing at William Regal Theater later.
Right now?
Yeah.
Sure.
Great, I'll pick you up in 15 minutes.
15 minutes? Do you remember where the house is?
Yep.
Okay. Bye.
Well, he should know. He was over here enough times mooning over you when you were in high school. Well, your mother liked him better than you did.
I think he was too small town for China.
But not now. You know, Matt
Joined BuddyShotz.
came back about a year ago.
He's podcasting now.
Kind of crazy when he was younger, but turned out to be a good guy.
Alright, dude, yes. I gotta go get ready for this hot date.
All right, man. Did she ask about me?
See ya. I wanna be Sledgehammer.
Can't believe we're already at 165, man. We've been
staying
doing
alive
this for a while.
Almost too long.
Yeah. Cop week.
Matt Week.
That's it.
Goodbye.
So, I'll give you one chance to get the poll right this week. Has anyone seen these?
0.0.
You got a goose egg, bro. I'm like, no more goose eggs.
I wear that as a badge of honor.
Ah.
I'd never seen either of these either.
You voted
I'm
like 10
with.
times. You're like, no. It's like, wait, so we had no engagement? Yeah.
And I still have never seen them.
What?
Like, I didn't understand the assignment.
Like, clean your act up, you freak. So yeah,
how'd you enjoy Cop Week? Rothrock Week?
for the most part, pretty much, yeah.
There were some delights.
Yeah.
Some highs and lows.
Yeah.
Roller coaster.
I was like,
You were like, help me!
it's like that one thing where it's just like, have you seen that? Maybe I've sent it to you, but it's like that meme somebody made when they were like, when I ask the amusement park worker how long, you know, like when I go on about the slide specifics, and it's like, how long will I slide? Like
I
that's that Aerosmith song or whatever.
That's fun.
It's like, huh?
I've never seen that.
Yeah.
But I'd like to.
You're not a coward. You just never been tested.
I'd like to think that if I was, I would have.
It's like, Jesus. That's, yeah, I think everybody knows what that's really about. But
What?
being tested for AIDS. Yeah, I know.
Oh, no.
Shocking. Back when it was a death sentence. Thankfully.
Bye.
Yeah. Or I meant thankfully it's not anymore. I just stopped after I said thankfully. I'm like, back then, thankfully, AIDS was a death sentence. It's like,
Everything was better back in the
yeah,
day.
when you could get AIDS and die like a motherfucker. You get AIDS. It's like turn into Scrooge. Like, let him fucking decrease the surplus population, bitch. So, I guess... Yeah, I don't know. You said you'd never seen either one of these before this week,
Yeah.
right? But you had obviously, like, you
I've seen
paired
several CynthiaRothrock's movies over the past few years and got to really enjoy her style.
Yeah.
And I wanted to pick one for the show to showcase her talents. Did I succeed? We'll find out. ChinaOBrien.
Yeah.
And SledgeHammer, I have no idea how I even heard of this, but...
This is one that I am like, holy shit, this show was 2 seasons and you have a DVD of it. I'm like, shocked.
Yeah.
Not that I didn't think it was, you know, I guess spoiler, but not that I didn't think it was worth it, but it's just, there's so many things we've watched over the years on this show that I'm like, there's just not a release for it.
The original Star Wars doesn't have a release yet. SledgeHammer is on DVD.
Well, I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Who wants to see that shit? The crap effects.
I want to see the special editions.
Yeah, seriously. They should have put a beak on SledgeHammer. Would have been better. JK.
He did have quite a mouth on him.
He's like, I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, Boba Fett, where? So yeah, this show came out in 1986. I feel like it was kind of, for the most part, like, when I was watching it, I felt it was kind of, like, I don't know if it was ahead of its time, but it was like, I think if this show had come out now, this would have, like, more than just, I'm surprised it got 2 seasons, but I think it would have more. Yeah. Possibly today. I mean, depending on who picked it up, there are obviously some exceptions to that now where a show will be, like, watched by a ton of people and then they'll just cancel it anyway. Because it's a tax write-off, but...
Yeah, I mean, I think we were just slightly too young to catch the show because it came out in 86.
Yeah.
Created by Alan Spencer, which actually, I was reading, did you read about the trivia or anything about the show? It had been around, they were trying to get it made since like the 70s, and no one wanted to do it, and they finally got their chance in the 80s. And the whole, well, so... It's a comedy cop show parody. Yeah. You described it as like Naked Gun.
Yeah, it's a lot like Police Squad or Naked Gun, which came, like, the Police Squad came out before this, but the actual movie of Naked Gun, I think, was like this, where, like, they weren't able to get it made until, like, much later. Like, the actual Naked Gun films didn't come out until after SledgeHammer. But the show that Naked Gun's based on came out before this, but... I didn't know that they had come up with the idea since, like, you know, like the 70s, which makes sense because they still have a website dedicated to this franchise. And I was like, this guy's got to be like a huge fan of this work that he made if he still has, you know what I mean? Like, so.
It's kind of like Naked Gun if Frank Drebin was a complete psycho.
Yeah. Like it was kind of like Naked Gun with Doll Man.
Yeah.
Honestly, because I was watching it and I was just like, this was, like, complete, like, parody, but, like, not, like, nobody was laughing. Like, it was all, like, Naked Gun, straight lace, kind of Mel Brooks humor, and with no laugh track, and, like you said, yeah, the guy is, like, insane. Psychotic.
Did you say no laugh track?
Did I at least, or, like, there wasn't as much, at least, from what I remember.
Oh, really? Because that's one of the things I want to talk about, because the one on this DVD had a laugh track, which I thought was weird.
Really?
Yeah. So there was a controversy on the show, so I guess we watched a different version of it, because after, like, the first few episodes, they actually ditched the laugh track. Yeah, no one liked it.
Yeah, the episode that I watched, like, well, maybe, like, the version I watched was them going back and they got rid of it or something.
Yeah, maybe,
because when I watched it, like, the first... I think, like... The one I watched was the same one. Maybe you watched the first episode where he gets the woman as his partner. But, like, there was no laugh track at all.
Oh, that's interesting.
So, like, maybe in subsequent versions, like, they got rid of it because...
That'd be my guess. But it was very
But you said,
jarring.
like, they did it and everybody was like, what the fuck?
It didn't work at all. Like, it was horrible, and I can tell why they got rid of it.
Yeah, that's weird because, like, when I was watching, that was one thing that I was kind of like, oh, this is kind of nice that they're not, like, playing up, like, that this is, like, a joke. Like, it's, like, that's why I said it was, like, Naked Gun, because with the laugh track, I would have been, like, I would have never made that connection.
Yeah, dude, that's funny.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, at least they, like, I guess, like, took it out, like, you know, like, course corrected it. It's just kind of weird that I wonder why in the first place they did it. Was it a fake laugh track? There wasn't filmed in front of an audience.
No, it was like canned laugh.
Right.
Canned laugh track.
Yeah.
I just think back then, like, they thought it was too risky. Like people wouldn't get the jokes if which. Like,
but
they
people
think
were
the audience
flipping
is dumb.
out. Yeah.
What
Did the audience like flip out about the laugh track? Like they were like, "This is not working," and then they just got rid of it. I guess,
I'm not sure, but I think the makers of the show were
just
like,
kind of saw it and were like,
they're like, "Get this out of here." What'd you think of David Rasche as SledgeHammer? Because like I've never seen this guy in anything else.
Yeah, I hadn't ever seen him or heard about him either, but he was great.
Oh, I have seen him in something else. He was in Succession. Yeah, I do recognize him now. But yeah, he was pretty good. I guess they wrote the part for him. Like the writer was friends with him or whatever. Okay. So, yeah.
Nice. Yeah, like this is one of those things where like it was kind of like I didn't really know. Honestly, I mean, it was kind of like I did see like in this there was like the mayor or whatever. Like I had seen him in a bunch of stuff.
Oh yeah, he was in the movie Point Blank.
Yeah,
remember when he fell off that building and was like? Rrr.
But I'd seen him in a ton of older stuff too.
Yeah,
like black and white stuff, and like, but it was kind of the same way when I watched ChinaOBrien. I hadn't really ever seen anybody in that movie like in anything. So.
I'm blanking on his name. Dean Wormer from Animal House.
He's like the dean or whatever.
The mayor. Yeah, he's the dean.
Or he's the dean in the Animal
John
House.
Vernon.
Yeah,
that guy's awesome.
He's like But
I think my favorite character was the captain because he was so over the top, like literally screaming at the top of his lungs.
They had like another character like that was like the exact not. I mean that's a trope, but I mean like. I forget exactly what we had watched. It was like, it's like I almost wonder if it was the same actor. Cause it was like
Harrison Page is the
like,
actor.
What the fuck? But it was like just screaming at the top of his lungs, like going nuts.
But yeah, to give an example, like there's a scene where there's a sniper on a rooftop, like picking people off, and Sledgehammer pulls out a rocket launcher, and then they just show stock footage of a building
just blows
collapsing.
the building up.
So if you think that's funny, Sledgehammer is for you.
Yeah, I was watching it and I was just like, it was like, you know, no nonsense RoboCop kind of stuff, but then it was just like that kind of stuff, and it was like, oh, holy shit. Yeah,
he's like in love with his gun.
Yeah. It's weird because like, it wasn't weird, but it was like interesting because like he talks to his gun, but like whenever he's called out on it, he's like insecure. Like he's like, no, you know, he's like acting like it didn't happen, which is interesting because usually they wouldn't do that with a character. They would just be like, oh, this character is 100% like, you know, non-touchable or badass. And I thought that was kind of an interesting thing where it was like, you know, he's like, no, I was just, you know, and I was like, kind of weird.
Dude, I'm reading the synopsis on IMDb. Here's what it says. Sledgehammer, the adventures of a deranged and dumb police detective who always looks for the most violent solution to any problem. Sounds like a great show to me. Yeah.
It's not exactly
I would say he was
like
dumb. Like, I don't know. Maybe he was.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, when I watched it, I didn't think he was dumb. It was like... It kind of reminded me of like Sledgehammer reminded me of like Inspector Gadget or Frank Drebin, where like he gets the results, but maybe he doesn't always see like everything at once. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And it's like he has the luck factor a lot of times. So like he's not stupid because like when he sees something, he's able to like win pretty much all the time. Yeah. But if he misses it, it's like the joke factor kind of thing. He does get held up at one point, but like his partner like saves him or whatever, and something like that. But like, you know, but when he goes to take care of business, it's like, you know, major police brutality. There's never any like.
He's like issues. A total fascist,
right?
You think you'll watch any more episodes of Sledgehammer?
I don't know. I liked it. I didn't think I was like when I watched it, I wasn't like, okay, next. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, I don't know. I might go back to it like every once in a while and kind of. Cool. I don't think it's something that I'll like binge straight through. I think this is kind of like one of those shows. It's like you watch this whenever you're wanting to kind of just get like a fun, like a good laugh, or like kind of like Police Squad or something, like I will watch that and be like, oh, but I won't like binge the episodes and stuff. Like this, I don't know if this is true or not, but like shows like this tend to not have like character arcs and stuff, so it's not something you can binge and be like there was like an overall story, but they'd be good for like, you know, like the comedy and for like that kind of stuff. So I think like there's definitely a place for that. It's just not something that I'd be like, man, I'm gonna watch this right alongside Breaking Bad or whatever. But like, it was good. I don't want anybody to think that like, you know, that's a knock.
Did you ever see that show? I think it was on Adult Swim or whatever, Eagleheart with Chris Elliott.
I don't think I've ever heard of that. No,
it was pretty obscure, but he plays a similar character to this, but it has that Chris Elliott like style humor, which is like only a small percentage like really respond to. It kind of reminded me of that.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, yeah, we watched. Speaking of which, we watched that Chris Elliott show, the whatever
Action Family.
Yeah, and it was like, I wouldn't say it was. This reminded me of that. It reminded me of like one part of it, but like, I feel like this for me worked a lot more because it was literally just comedy and stuff. It wasn't.
I agree.
I was shocked to see that Danny Elfman did the theme for this.
Yeah.
But then when I listened to the end part, it was totally clear. He just ripped off Beetlejuice at the end. I was like, okay.
This came out maybe the same year, like right around the same time.
Yeah. But a lot of his stuff kind of sounds the same. But
blatant self-plagiarizer, Danny Elfman.
Fuck you, Danny Elfman. That's what I'm saying. No, I'm a fan.
Yeah, me too.
There was a pretty there's a sight gag I wrote down here about them showing a bunch of like triple X stuff, and then they show the Republican headquarters, and I was like, that's pretty funny.
They were nailing it. That was good.
There's too many lines for me to really kind of go over here. I don't want to recite the entire joke book here, but
the jokes were coming fast and furious, though, which I appreciated.
A lot of sight gags too, shooting a guy, shooting balloons around a guy to make him confess and that kind of stuff. So
yeah, I think it was. I enjoyed it.
You're like, I think I enjoyed it. You're like, but in reality, I loved it. Yeah, I agree. It's one of those things. Does this have any special features on it? Or
I don't think so.
It says both seasons of one of the funniest, most notorious series in television history.
So notorious, I've never heard of it.
Whose rabid cult of fans grows to this day.
Argh!
Yeah, they're growing.
They're rabid.
They're growing, showing. Yeah.
Well, sign me up for that cult.
Yeah. Give me a fucking.
Drinking the SledgeHammer Kool-Aid.
The Sledge-Aid. It's
delicious. But yeah, I don't have much more to say about it. It was very entertaining. Should we move on to the main event?
No.
China.
Nope.
Hi.
See ya. I'm like, oh. Okay, cool. So,
ChinaOBrien from 1990, starring CynthiaRothrock and Richard Norton.
Yeah, and Keith something or
Keith Cook as Dakota.
And a bunch of people I'd never heard of before.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure I've seen these other people and stuff before, action films Richard Norton, but even his name, I was because I don't watch a lot of those films, so I was don't really know. And then CynthiaRothrock, I'm sure I'd heard of her before, but it wasn't for me, I hadn't really been oh yeah, I heard of her, and stuff. But there were definitely reasons why.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure we'll get into at some point. But.
Yeah. But it was directed by Robert Klaus, who directed Enter the Dragon with Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
So he's got some serious cred. Maybe too much cred to be doing ChinaOBrien.
Yeah, I never would have guessed that he was involved in this when I watched it. I was watching it after when I watched that podcast you sent me to with Scott Adkins having CynthiaRothrock on. There was a lot of interesting stuff on there, but they spent 5 seconds on ChinaOBrien.
Really?
Yeah. Talking about it at least, because
sadly,
her big claim to fame, I think, was Hong Kong films and stuff. She was the first woman to be the main in a Hong Kong film that was like a
Westerner.
Yeah, which is like a huge deal.
Which was like unprecedented at the time. She was literally the first one to do it.
Yeah.
And her career seemed like it was on the fast track to superstardom.
Until Stallone deleted
and she's
it.
like, I hope nothing happens.
Yeah! Stallone's like, come back here and check out these codes.
But ChinaOBrien, this is technically an Asian film. Like, it was produced in Hong Kong by Golden Harvest.
Mm-hmm. But it was shot like...
Yeah, it was shot in America and using all Western actors. But this was kind of after, or like right when her career was like starting to take the downturn because the thing with Stallone didn't work out.
Yeah.
So she never really made a big break
in the U.S. in Hong Kong because of it.
Yeah, well, she put everything on hold for that, and then it never ended up happening.
And they were like, fuck you.
And then times just kind of passed by at that point, and then she kind of went into direct-to-video land.
Yeah, I got the feeling when I was listening to that, like, podcast episode that, like, because of her putting that on hold, they were kind of like, okay, then screw you, you know, like in Hong Kong or whatever, and kind of told her to eat shit. Even though it's like, you know, she made you a fuck ton of money.
Yeah.
It's kind of shitty.
Yeah, so if you've never heard of her, that's why. She was huge in Hong Kong for like the late 80s, and then
it'd be like if Jackie Chan got some bad advice and literally never you know, did any more stuff in Hong Kong, or like his stuff over here didn't take off. He'd just literally be big among a couple people.
Yeah.
It's sad.
It is. But so Richard Norton was another, he's from Australia, and he was also in Hong Kong movies, so they like became friends because they were like the two, you know, non-Chinese people who were in, so they've been in like a lot of movies together, and they're like best friends in real life even to this day.
Nice. And he created the antivirus software.
He did. Norton.
That bastard. The antivirus software that doesn't do anything.
So I guess I'll ask,
yeah,
what did you think of CynthiaRothrock in this film?
So like, her in general and in this film is like, after like watching this, I was just like, because I'm split about this film. Her, Richard Norton, and like the
Keith Cook.
Yeah, they were like the shining beacon in this for me. And I thought she was great, and then when you sent me that clip of like her fight and stuff like that, I was just like,
from Yes Madam?
Yeah, I was like, fuck, I just want to watch like the Hong Kong shit she did.
Yeah.
Because like,
it was better.
Because well,
some of them were better.
Yeah, I mean, like, because like she was great in this. Richard Norton's great in this, and so was like Dakota in this. Like, but yeah. Like, I guess I'll stop at that, and then we'll kind of go over it as we go over.
I think we're gonna agree, because like this is not the strongest film by any means, but it was highly entertaining.
When she's cooking, and it's like, well, anytime she's on screen, she's doing great, and you can tell she's got like the it factor, and she's backed up by two other supporting actors that can do martial arts, and it's like, okay, but what they have her sometimes involved in is not like, it's kind of like wasting her talents, it seems like.
Yeah, I think she's awesome. Her fighting skills are amazing. I mean, she's
I was like,
the greatest martial artists out there. She's like a grandmaster in multiple forms, and like, truly awesome.
I got a lot more context after watching this when you sent me the clip and then sent me to the podcast, and I was like, something's not adding up here, because like after watching that clip, it's like Fast and Furious, and she's doing all this badass shit, and here it's like they have her like stuck in like first gear a lot of times, and she's literally just throwing punches and sometimes kicks, and it's like,
I mean, a lot of her Hong Kong movies were like either directed or the action was done by Sammo Hung. Yeah. He's like one of the best to ever do that. And when you go from that to this,
but it's also it feels like the people that she's working with like maybe aren't in the same league. Like, she's beating up rednecks the whole time. And a lot of them do not look like they're in the shape to be doing this. The kind of stuff, at least. And but having said that, like, I like what. It's funny, I just don't think there was enough action scenes.
No.
In this film.
Not even close.
Which is funny because, like, not that I've been like, oh, you know, But, like, when I saw her perform in, like, the Hong Kong films, I was like, this is the kind of stuff that I like for action, is, like, this kind of stuff. And,
yeah, like that fight at the end of Yes, Madam.
Yeah.
Her and Michelle.
I was like, Jesus, this is
it's
fucking
like
awesome.
up there with, like, some of the best Jackie Chan stuff.
Right.
You know, and
just
this
in
is,
general,
this
like,
is
they're
not
kind of fast-paced, and then watching some of the fight scenes in this, I was like...
It's just clunky.
Yeah, it's like, it's a lot of, like, it's almost like improv. Like, was this done, like... It's like something we would have done in, like, high school, like a fight scene. It's like... But
I agree. I love, you know, her action is top-notch.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say she's, like, as good at acting as Meryl Streep, but she does have that charisma. Like, I just enjoy watching her.
I think,
you know?
like, at least in this, like, the kind of stuff she was given wasn't really, like... I feel like she doesn't...
The director didn't help her out.
She doesn't even have a ton of lines, like, that really... It's, like, a lot of, like, couple-word, like, stuff, and it's, like...
Yeah, like, she was not given any favors. I'll point to the scene where, like, her dad explodes, and she's running, and Dad, no! And she's, like, hopping around, and it's like, dude, why aren't you cutting? Like, it goes on for so long, and I'm like, come on, this is horrible.
Yeah, the editor... This was, like... I could have sworn that this came out, like, straight to VHS. Like, this was shot on VHS, because when I was watching this was, like, something that I was like, no offense, but, like, this was, like, something I would have expected from, like, you know, a horror hound kind of trauma, or, like, Vinegar Syndrome or something. Like, one of those movies that got tucked away or something, because I was watching it, and I was like, there's talent there in the main three people, but, like...
It's very amateurish.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I meant. It's like... Also, like, the favorite word in this movie is bitch. It's like Arkham Asylum all over again. It's like, that fucking bitch. And I'm like, Jesus!
Like, who wrote the script, Freddy Krueger?
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck?
But, I mean, having said all that, I did like the story. Like, you know... it reminded me of Roadhouse, because she basically has to go in and, like, clean up a town.
Yeah, it's like Walking Tall or whatever. Like,
yeah, Walking
I've seen
Tall.
it, you know, quite... It's not like anything new, but it's not like it was something that I was offended by. I wasn't watching it and being like...
But some of the stuff that happens is, like, so outrageous, I was cracking up. So, like, it had that...
The amount of, like, corruption in this was, like, it was a step too far for even... for me. For me, because I was like, really, dude? Like, I don't know. Like, I mean, I don't know. She, I guess we should start why she's even in the fucking... Why she even goes home is because she's teaching this class to, I think it's like Army guys or Marines or something, or like that. Maybe they're just dressed like that, but she's teaching it to these like badass guys and stuff, and like one dude's like, okay, you think you can handle 5 guys? And I'm like, this is a start to a different film. And she goes
in the alley at 10 o'clock. She's
right.
like, okay.
And she goes out there to like fight these dudes, and like it's like, instead of fighting dudes that like she thinks are like, you know, just to kind of test her, like it's a friendly kind of thing, it's like gangsters, and she ends up like shooting a random kid at some point.
She pulls a Roger Murtaugh.
Right. And then
I killed your friend, Nick.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Nick.
Instead of like Sledgehammer, she like instantly gives up the ghost.
Yeah.
She pulls a Columbo and never fires a gun again.
Even though like she didn't do anything wrong, like her life was being threatened.
like, yeah, I think it just sets up like what kind of a person she is, but it's also kind of like,
it's not like
as
Carl Winslow in Die Hard, who
right.
when he killed a kid, he didn't even have a gun.
Right. It was like, yeah, I don't know. It's like, I get where they're like coming from, because they want to show that like she has like the morals, but it's also like you said, she didn't do anything in bad faith. Like it was like her boss said, it was an accident, and you know, as a police officer, you know, she went through all this training, like she kind of knows that like that might have happened, right? Like she acted like this is the first time she ever fired a gun, and the first time she killed, like the first time she shot at somebody that was an innocent person. It was like, well, hopefully it was, but you know, like she's got to know that could happen and stuff, and it's like,
She's not a coward. She's just never been tested.
When she was tested, she killed the fuck out of an innocent kid.
Innocent? He pulled a gun on her.
No, they said he was innocent. I was under the impression that he did nothing wrong. There is some interesting ADR in this, which I appreciated.
I thought you were going to.
I got a place for you to sit right here. I was like...
That's when she goes and pulls a Seagal and beats up a whole bar.
Yeah, I was like...
You know I'm going to like any movie where someone beats up a whole bar. I'm just in.
I mean, no, I just meant the ADR was like,
yeah,
this is stupid, dude. What the fuck? I'm going to show you this part. I'm going to show these guys your ass. Like that lady said like to her, and I was like, huh? It's like she just beat the fuck out of a bunch of people, and now you're going to... It's like, that was the whole story of this film, was like, you watch like her beat the shit out of a bunch of dudes, and then another guy thinks that they can take her on,
right.
And it's like, what? Also, we got some racism here. Fucking, you see that she's one of those chop suey fighters, and I was like, wake up, girl, push up on a little makeup. You wanted to.
Nice.
I was like, Jesus. It's like she
China.
Yeah, she knows like martial arts, and they're like, you know, country dudes, and they're like, she's fucking Hong Kong Fooey in it, and I'm like, okay. They never like really discussed this, but like, her parents named her China at one point. Like, what the hell was that all about? But her last name is O'Brien, so. The first time I thought this was maybe a TV movie or something was like
this was basically a direct-to-video movie. I think it came out in one theater, and other than that, it was.
Well, the reason why I thought that is because there was a part where like, somebody gets like choked to death, and then it like fades to black, and I was like, yeah, I was like, commercial? What? Did you see the guy, John Lennon, with a gun in the lumberyard? Did you see that guy?
It's just some random hippie.
Yeah, I was like, John Lennon over here. Yeah, like,
that was so weird.
He's like, fuck peace. Yeah. He's like, I gave peace a chance. Now it's time for fucking killing.
Give war a chance.
Yeah, I was like, why is a hippie have a gun?
And then a dude pulls out a chainsaw and like tries to attack China with a chainsaw.
Like a Resident Evil 4 villain showed up. I was like, oh.
That escalated quickly.
Yeah. This was some shit that was like, this is where I was like, okay, the corruption in this is like over the bounds. It was like, so like they go to this lumberyard to like, because like they get called there by a guy that owns it and is like, hey, these guys are like literally stealing my shit. And they go to like stop them or like be like, we need to talk about this. And the police get fucking attacked and they fight back. And then they're like, you overstepped your bounds and they have the rights to sue you. It's like, so the criminals that were stealing from this guy have the rights to sue the police that got attacked by them? That's what I was like, wait a minute, what's going on here?
I think it's funny that China has to point out to her dad like that there's corruption.
Yeah.
Like, how did he not know? Like, he must be the dumbest cop ever.
Yeah. Well, he does get Mr. McMahon. Yeah. He fucking blows up in a car, and I was just like, then they play like the Undertaker's theme, and I was like, what the fuck? It was all, this was like supposed to be like sad, I think, but this was, the thing about this is it was comical, was that like, not that he blew up, but then like 3 minutes later, the only other guy that was in the police department that was like not corrupted, fucking like they try to ring him up to make him stop, and he's literally goes into his car and blows up,
which was totally the same.
And I was
just
like,
from a different angle.
Right? And I was like, dude, you can't write this shit, or can you?
There's one thing that happened in this movie that I thought was funnier than all that.
Oh, yeah, I mean, this wasn't the funniest thing. I just thought it was, like, I thought it was funny that I don't think they intended it to be funny at all, but it was like watching people, like, a bunch of clowns run into, like, a fucking furnace or something. It was like, what?
And then she did the slow motion, no!
Yeah.
But usually they do that before the thing happens.
Yeah!
This was after.
Yeah! Yeah, I was like, even her trying to stop it was late. Like, the fucking no. It's like, that should be before, not after. I think that was like an editing fuck up.
Yeah. But my favorite part of this whole movie is when, so she's running for mayor, or for
sheriff.
Sheriff.
Yeah.
and there's this rally. They have this huge bonfire.
I think I know what you're.
The firemen come in to put it out, and Richard Norton starts beating the hell out of a bunch of firemen, and the whole crowd's cheering like, "Yay!" I was like, "What's happening?"
The thing I was gonna say was the part where she's literally driving around a huge ass bonfire in a car,
like high-fiving, like woo.
Yeah, and I was like, are they supposed to drive off somewhere? And no, they're literally driving around, and there's a crowd like, yeah. And there's a huge fucking bonfire in the
totally
middle.
Out of control.
And I'm like, this is like an unruly mob out here. What's going on?
But those firemen were just doing their jobs. Like, they didn't deserve to
they pulled up, and then he instantly was like, fuck you, I'll do it. And I was like, what?
Oh, man, good stuff.
Yeah. So when her dad gets blown up and they put him in the ground, the guys... I was like, dude, you can't make this shit up. Like, they got this out of a fucking, like, kid's book or something. It's like earth to earth, ash, dust to dust, ash to ashes. And I was like, dude, are you serious with this? This is like this is like kindergarten. Graveyard shit. This is graveyard shit. But I was just like, I've never been to a funeral where they say that. Like, you know what I mean? I've heard, you hear it before, you know, in not really movies, but like, you know, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. But I've never been to a funeral where they're like, they actually say that. That's like someone that's like, I'm going to recite a poem to you, I love you, and it's like roses are red. It's like, that's like baby stuff. Like, that was literally like the pastor's like, time to, give them some comforting words. And he's like, ashes to ashes, dust to dust, here lies a bitch I wouldn't trust.
He's like, rest in peace.
Yeah, fuck you. But yeah, like you said, it's like she runs for sheriff, and I was like, don't they need... I mean, I guess they have to replace him, obviously, but it's like, generally, they have to, like, do that on, like, a schedule. I guess that's if they have an election, like, on a set time, like... But if, like... I don't know what the procedures are for both the fucking deputy and the sheriff pull up in a fucking car. Also, did you see there's a couple of things in this movie where it's like there's some weird sped up fight?
Yeah, there were a couple.
I thought that I was kind of like, wait, what? Like, I don't know if that was like, I don't know what that was all about. What's with the iron box on like Dakota's fucking arm?
Yeah, I didn't understand what that
was.
Because,
like, at first I thought that it was like he had like a fake hand, but like he has a glove on it, and in like a lot of the like promo photos I kind of looked up, you can see his fingers at one point through like a fingerless glove. So it's like
it was just like a blob with a box around.
It was like he had like the fucking Iron Man fucking the masks fucking lockbox on his on one of his arms, and he.
But at one point, wasn't he like adjusting it or something?
I thought he was like a mechanical. I thought he used it to. He like turned his fucking motorcycle on at one point with it.
Really?
And I was like, what is the point of this? Like, why? I thought it was like, okay, he can't turn the key with a hand he doesn't have, but then he did have the hand, and he, from what I remember, I don't really remember him knocking people out with it. That would have been like, okay, but like, because he kicked
I do
a
know
lot.
the reason why.
Oh,
that was in the movie.
Oh, why?
Because the actor hurt the shit out of his hand right before they started filming. Because him and CynthiaRothrock had a luge accident.
Oh shit!
I was like, so random.
So
he like broke his hand.
Oh,
so they're like, we'll just put a weird thing on it and put it in the movie. Okay.
And I'll question it,
but they don't explain what it is or like what it does.
Yeah, like why
it's weird.
I honestly, at first when I first
saw
that, I thought that it was because they show a scene earlier where he tries to go find his mom or whatever, and these dudes like beat the shit out of him.
Yeah.
But like, they're never like, I lost my hand, or like they beat me so bad that my hand's crippled for life. But like, it doesn't look like that.
I know.
So it's like, I don't know. Maybe they just did a poor job of retconning that in, or like making it look like his hand wasn't there. I don't know. Because it's like he has it here, and then his hand goes out, but it's like a black bulb. So it's like when you lose your hand, it doesn't grow a bulb there.
Or does it? I hope not. But this here, I learned something. This might explain why you have some of these questions, because this movie was filmed simultaneously with ChinaOBrien 2. And a lot of the times, the actors didn't even know which movie they were.
Yeah,
what continuity was happening
because they did talk about that.
So I think they were just rushing through as fast as they can to get all the footage, and it shows.
Yeah.
Because they shot both movies in 6 weeks, which is pretty impressive. Or is it?
What'd you think about the people cheering as China ties up a dude like a Hoth walker? I was like,
it was hilarious.
What was the point of this? I mean, it was funny, but she had a rope and she kept doing fucking Ocarina of Time rolls around the dude until he fucking fell over. I was like, man, there's just so many funny things that happen in this film that was
What'd you think of when the scene in the workout room with Richard Norton? My favorite part is he did an attack where he leapt and then went sideways and
he
just knocked the guy to the
physics.
ground.
I was like, why is the movie about ChinaOBrien? This guy is fucking Superman. Two dudes put a barbell on him with weights, and they're both pushing it down on other sides.
They're full weight.
And he pushes them both off. After that, I would have just left. I'm like, this guy's so strong, he's able to dead push off. Because it's harder to push up from this position than it is to put your whole fucking weight above somebody, and he still fucking he pushed them both off, and I was like,
Matt Conroy is
why
that
is
strong?
this guy not the lead? He's fucking impossibly strong.
Did you notice Sato popped up in the last scene from Turtles 2?
No.
Yeah, blink and you miss him.
Really?
Yeah.
What was he doing?
He was just one of the random henchmen.
Oh, wow.
Who got his ass beat.
Wow, okay. He's like, hey, fuck it. I like how 54 minutes into this film and we just now got introduced to our third lead, Dakota. I was like, why?
He's always just lurking.
Yeah.
Okay.
This part I had to write down specifically because it happened and I was like, what? And I had to rewind it, but this is the corrupt guy that's trying to take over for after China's dad dies.
Mm-hmm.
The lanky fucker that was I don't know what his name was, but I forget his name. I mean, but he forgets his lines, it seems, because he's you people aren't being very cooperative. You're trying to hide something. You wouldn't do a thing like that, would you? You got more respect for the. Then he looks up and he's like, "Lol." That. And I was like, "What?"
Okay.
Yeah, it was total deer in headlights. I was like, That's why I was the main three guys were legit, but everybody else I felt were they were on a different planet or something. I was like, did they get these guys
community theater?
Right. Especially the guy that played the bad guy, the main bad guy,
mm-hmm.
that was orchestrating everything. I was like, they got some nice voter tampering going on where they they try to beat the shit out of some kids.
Yeah.
They were trying to
protect the ballot box.
Yeah. I was like, good lord.
Did you like how China just made a bunch of kids deputies?
That cracked
what could
me
go
up.
wrong?
She was like, okay, and then she passes out the fucking badges.
She's giving them out like hot cakes.
Right. I was like, damn. I do have a note here that says the fights when they happen are awesome.
It's simply because they're super talented martial artists.
Yeah,
and you can't hide that.
Problem
Even
is
with crappy
they're putting
choreography.
in weird sound effects, whip sound effects, every punch and kick, and I was like, I got used to it after a while, but I was like, huh? I was blown away though about this. I was not this because up to this point in the film there was fighting, but it's there's just not enough from her specifically, in my opinion, because she's kind of taking over.
That's
for
the
her
reason
dad
why
and
we're
stuff.
here, is to watch her fight.
And she picks up a bow staff and does some stuff I've never seen before, and I was like, man, they should have had her as Donatello in the costume in the Turtles movies, because
that was one of her specialties is weapons specifically. So like she has a bow staff as one of her
that's what a lot of martial I think Kreese and Silver they're like, oh, I'd rather mess with weapons than hand to hand and stuff, and because people that spend all that time in it, it's like, I would want to go against someone with a that's an expert in a weapon like that, let alone
But that's probably the coolest part of the whole movie when she pulls that, does the move and then she does the.
Well, she went like that and it spun, and I was like, what?
Yeah, that was awesome.
How? That was ridiculous.
That was sweet. You think she could take on Sticks?
Probably.
Get him, Sticks!
That guy sucked. Stickgrappler.net.
Stickgrappler.net. Go there.
He got punked out in 1 second by Steven Seagal. Actually, in a Steven Seagal movie, she would fall in love with him, and then he'd kill her or something in 5 seconds. I liked how they were singing "For She's a Jolly Good Fellow," and I was like, dude, this is total kindergarten. First the ashes, and now this. I was like, they're like, yee. I was cracking up about it though. It was just kind of and then there's a rant. There's just so much corruption in this. It's so ridiculous. After she wins, a dude just pulls up and starts blasting. He machine guns the party. Yeah, a fucking into a crowd of people, and he kills the fuck out of her nanny or whatever.
Yeah, he kills a kid. There's a kid laying
on
the ground dead, but if you freeze frame it, you can see he's smiling. That actor was just having a blast being in a movie.
But it's she blink and you miss it. The fucking lady that raised her and stuff and helped her dad out or whatever, the housekeeper, fucking gets gunned down.
Yeah.
And they don't really say anything about it.
No, it's just well, move on.
Fuck you. This was another line that I was like, who wrote this, man? Call the judge, tell him to rescind those warrants or he's finished. And I think he knows what finish means. What?
Who wrote this? Me?
You're who the fuck would say that? I was poetry. Yeah. And I think he knows what finish means. I was I don't think you need to say that last part.
Yeah. Take another stab at that draft.
I was cracking up when Dakota goes into the bar. I think it was him, and a dude slowly in slow-mo, which was weird. He gets slowly pressed against a wall by a bike.
They were saying on the commentary, they think that they had one chance at that stunt, and they just botched it. And
so they just
stitched it together as best they could. Because it looks you can't tell, it looks horrible.
You can't, it's one of those things in a straight-to-VHS film, thing where you're can't really tell what happened. It
looked pretty bad.
Yeah. Because they don't have the footage to really make it make sense, so it's you just have to kind of make an inference that he went through the window, which you saw, and that the bike hit him at one point, but it's literally goes from him going through the window to the guy just
yeah,
you don't even see
getting
Dakota
gently pressed against the wall. It's okay,
yeah,
he looks fine to me.
Because he's trying to he finds out that what's his name, Mr. The bad guy of the whole film, I forget what his character's name is.
Yeah.
I think it starts with a C.
And it doesn't matter.
But he finds out he ordered his mom to be killed, so he goes after him, and he has the restraint to not kill him. And I was like, oh, that was super anticlimactic.
Yeah.
Then the next fucking second, fucking Richard Norton's handcuffed to the dude, and it's if you blink, you miss it. He gets fucking shotgunned, and they both fly back.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And there's not even you see him dead or oh, he's dead. It's he gets blown back, and you don't even see it's just he's they're both ah, and it's one of the ladies he was torturing
his
or
prisoner.
Whatever. Yeah, killed him, and I was just okay. But it was just so out of the blue. It was what? I was was this an afterthought? They forgot to get what they really wanted?
Yeah, they were just rushing to get to the end of this movie, it seemed like.
It's us when back in the day we'd be okay, we have all these grand plans for what we want to make in this movie for the day.
Yeah.
And then okay, well, we got to film the rest of this inside because we got no light.
We spent hours doing one shot.
Right. And then the horse. What do you think about how I feel that horse pin hide and seek lasted for a while? I was like, and then your favorite.
Freeze frame.
Yes.
Loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have too much more to say about this movie. I mean, I think we both are in agreement. It's not a great movie, but it definitely passed my entertainment test. Mm-hmm. And CynthiaRothrock is awesome. So
yeah, I put CynthiaRothrock was kind of wasted on this film. It was low budget. Like it was. Well, we already said that, but like I really like the main actors, like CynthiaRothrock, Richard Norton, and Keith Cook in this. If they weren't in this, man, I don't know if this would be.
Oh, it would be garbage.
Yeah. But did you want to talk at all about the sequel or no?
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to.
Sounds
okay.
Good. I watched it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
How was it? Compared to the first? Better or worse or same?
Yeah, it's about the same, honestly.
That's kind of what I figured.
I feel like the bad guy was better.
Oh, that's good.
Like, he's a better actor, but the plot was a little weaker. But
yeah, I'm
it's funny.
Interested to watch it.
They were.
I'm surprised you watched it.
I watched it, took notes and stuff because I wasn't sure if you were gonna want to go over it or any, But like, I'd be interested to see if they do more of these because I know that she said she was interested in doing more, and I think that it's just a shame that like her career went the way it did because like for me at least like when I was watching these films I was like. They weren't exactly like we were saying. It's kind of like, but like she was good in them, and that was.
I hate to say, but even in her Hong Kong stuff, like a lot of those movies aren't great either.
Yeah,
but she's great in them.
But that's probably more so due to like, I bet if she was a guy, it would probably be a little better.
Yeah,
maybe because of the way that. I'm sure they were like, I don't know how many of those films where she was in them all, the whole time or whatever.
Yeah, it's the same thing with Yes, Madam, because like they got scared halfway through filming it, like a movie with two female leads won't work, so they bailed on the premise and like that movie's totally compromised too. But when she's in it, it's amazing.
Right.
I think probably my favorite of hers that I've seen is Righting Wrongs.
Yeah, that was one that I want to watch.
I would
eventually
throw that
for
out
the podcast.
to the group. Righting Wrongs is pretty darn awesome.
Yeah. I want to watch that for the podcast because after this, I kind of went on a thing of like looking up what films to put on the list for hers, and that was definitely one that I kept popping up that had like a really nice, cool edition and stuff.
Yeah,
and it looked cool. It was just like I didn't want to pick that for the next week right after this because
why not? But another one, Rage and Honor. This is a total direct-to-video with her and Richard Norton, but like,
holy crap!
Again, not the best movie, but is pretty fun.
Yeah,
just those two in a buddy cop movie.
Speaking of Richard Norton, like something in the sequel, it's not like a spoiler or anything, but like there's another part in that because like in this movie he doesn't dress up at all for the fucking funeral.
Yeah,
the same thing happens in the sequel. There's a funeral and
they probably filmed it the same day.
Right, that's what I was thinking because I was like, this looks fucking familiar as fuck. Like it's different lines and stuff, but it's like the same kind of deal where it's just like she's wearing an actual, it's like, dude, this is like someone that you're like romantically involved with, and this is the best you can do. Is a fucking what's he wearing? Like a fucking
come on, Matt.
He's wearing like a denim fucking shit or something. I'm like,
Canadian tuxedo and a leather jacket.
Fuck off. I loved him in this, but it was like it's like a little disrespectful.
But yeah, I'm gonna go 7.95 for this. I think it would be fun to watch with like a group to like make fun of it and be like, "Whoa, that was a cool move." Every now and then,
the one move.
Yeah,
yeah. I feel like I definitely would have enjoyed this more if I like partook in like mind-altering substances.
Yeah,
but. Not, I mean, it's just kind of a letdown with like with her and the other two leads not like being in a movie like this where it's like I wasn't like watching it and being like this sucks, but I was watching it being like,
imagine if this was actually a good movie.
Right. I was like, man, I kind of just want to watch one of the Hong Kong ones right now. But then again, like you said, a lot of those have kind of issues too. So, oh well. Yeah, I'll probably do like. I mean, I didn't hate it, but I also, like, I'd probably never watch it again.
You weren't mad. You were just disappointed.
But yeah. I was always tested. 6.95.
Cool.
What'd you think about, I mean, you watched did you watch any of the features, like, besides the commentary?
No, not yet, because all the features, they're about both movies, so I didn't want to be spoiled.
Of course.
I'm sure it would totally ruin the experience if I knew what happened in ChinaOBrien too.
Yeah.
I guess in hindsight I should have done the double feature, but I don't like to do that when I haven't seen the first movie, because if it sucks, I don't want to, like, double down. You know what I mean?
I do.
You do?
Yeah. I do it all the time. I'm like Blade 1, Blade 2, Spider-Man, Spider 2.
But those are
Well,
good
that's
movies.
true,
They'll be fun to talk about.
Yeah, ones I have seen before, I just double down on, like Dragon Ball Week. No big deal there. I just fucked it.
Let's never talk about that again.
Yeah, I'm like, it's still better than ChinaOBrien. ChinaOBrien needs, like, I don't know. If they do a sequel, they need to, like, hire some writers. I like the
and some better choreographers.
Yeah. And yeah, I don't know. It's funny because when I watched, I'm not gonna spoil anything, but when I watched this, like, the sequel, like, on, there's a poster where, like, it looks like she's, like, going international, and it's like, nah. Like, okay, cool.
Nice.
It was like
deception.
Yeah.
That's a cool poster, though.
Yeah. I don't think she ever wears that in the film, but
not surprised.
But it was fun to, like, watch both of them, just because I was like,
I can't believe you did that.
Yeah, I was just like, I just want to see if the second one gets any better, because it could have been, like, a hidden gem as far as, like, like, yeah. So,
cool, man. Well, what's on tap for next episode?
I'm like, ChinaOBrien 2.
ChinaOBrien
and 3. So next week, cool. I didn't write down the weird watches.
Uh-oh.
So, well, I know next week for the feature presentation is going to be a film that came out, I think it was 2016, an animated feature that I've never seen before, but it came out and I've always wanted to watch it, and it's like one of the highest rated ones that's, like, come out, like, in a long time. So it's called Your Name, and it came out, I don't know, I think it was 2016, but fairly recently.
2016.
Yeah. And
I've heard of this somehow,
yeah,
but I don't.
It was one of those ones that kind of came out in theaters, and, like, I wanted to see it, but I just never got around to seeing it. And it's like, it's not part of a series or anything. It's like one of those deals like Ghibli, where, like, they just made, like, a really well touted feature. So, and it seems like it's all, like, hand drawn and fun stuff like that. And then for the weird watches, from what I remember, at least, since I didn't write it down here, is I wanted to watch Dr. Stone. It's an animated show. I was gonna pick another movie, but I was like, this one's already like an hour and something. I didn't want to stretch it out too long, but watch, like, maybe I think, like, the first 2 episodes of that show or whatever, just to kind of get your thoughts on it, because I've already watched this show, like, probably, like, 4 times.
Wow.
So,
what about Mr. Stone? He didn't
go
to
medical
school.
He didn't go to Mr. Stone, Mr. Stone,
Dr. Pepper, Mr. Pibb situation.
Yeah, Mr. Pibb. He's like, meh. But yeah,
all right.
So, and I think, like, the main reason why I picked Dr. Stone is I just want to see what you think about it, because it's not really like any other show animated that we've watched on the channel before, because it doesn't really go for, like, I guess, like, the shoujo kind of thing of, like, fights, but it still has that same energy, more so like the discovery of, like, Star Trek or adventure. So I think that, science and stuff like that, it's kind of interesting. That's one of the reasons why I watched it a bunch of times, is because it's something I've, like, never really encountered. Usually it's like, here comes a guy and they gotta fight them, and then the next guy comes along, and this is more so like, you know, yeah, it's just interesting. So
I'm curious. I have not heard of this one.
You're curious, and hopefully when you watch it, you won't be furious. You're like, fuck this!
Cool, man.
Cool. Well, do you have anything else to say about ChinaOBrien week? Or ChinaOBrien week, Cop week, I mean.
Another week in the books.
In the pocket. Yep.
A+ episode of Buddy Shotz.
Thanks, us. Yeah, it's like another day, another dollar.
Yeah. Don't want to toot my own horn, but beep, beep.
Yeah. Like, beep, beep.
Beep, beep, babe.
Cool.
All right. Until next time. Bye.
You know, you really know how to handle yourself. I didn't mention after that fight, but you're very good.
Lots of training.
Yeah, but you were always serious about that stuff, even as a kid. But now, well, it's even scary.
Well, there's a lot more to it than just learning the moves. I've also been teaching. Hello?
Is this the O'Brien residence?
Yes, this is it.
Yeah. There's a fire downtown. You better get down there quick.
Have you called the fire department? Well, call them as soon as I hang up. What's your address? I'll come right away. 632 Carson Road. Okay, now call the fire department.
I'm coming with you.
Okay. Now, hurry up.
Hello?
Yeah, hi, China. It's Matt.
Matt, I have to run. I'll call you later, okay?
Something wrong?
Matt, please, let me call you back after.
China? China! China! Like, I guess
she didn't recognize me. She didn't recognize me the whole time. Screen's been on the whole time.
It is you.
I don't know why I had it facing you. Like, I was like, I should be the one watching it. I'm like, Matt, act and boss director. Yeah. What are you, Kevin Smith over here?
Oh, man. I like your shoes.
Thanks, man.
Are they new?
Yeah. Adidas. All day I dream about sex.
What?
You heard that? You never heard that before? Dude, come on. Are you serious?
Yes! What are you talking about?
I've heard that since like 3rd grade.
What? This is 3rd grade? People were just coming up and you'd be like, hey, man, all day I dream about sex. You want some candy over here?
I can't believe you've never heard that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I didn't know. I didn't know about sex when I was dreaming about it all day. All day I dream about sex!
Alright, here we go.
Okay.
Gloria, why you're bugging me, little mutt?
Gloria's like, all day I dream about sleep.
Dude, I gotta get ready for this hot date. And you're like, sounds good. Did she ask about me?
Yeah, it's like...
the most dickish thing.
Well, it's so weird that, like... Obviously, you just secured a date with someone, like, this is romantic, and I'm like, I still got a chance, right? It's like, what?
Yeah. Alright, ready?
Yeah.
I'm gonna do this 2 different ways, and I'll let you choose. I was thinking about this. I'll let you choose which way works best.
Okay.
Alright, dude, yes! I gotta go get ready for this hot date.
Alright, man. Did she ask about me?
See ya! Alright, gotta go get ready for this hot date, man.
Alright, man. Did she ask about me?
Fuck. I'm trying something.
That was the second way or whatever, was to look at me like pissed.
Be a huge dick.
I'm like...
Alright, time to go get ready for this hot date. Gloria! I'm gonna go put her up. She's too riled up.
For you. It's like...
Alright, I gotta go. Blech.
Is that what I say, all right, or?
Yeah, all right. You don't have to do it exactly like what I wrote. All right, man. I gotta go get ready for this hot date.
Wow. Did she ask about me?
See ya.
Fuck! Should I say anything? Or?
If you want to.
Fuck! Can't take this shit no more, man! Okay, I can't do that. That's fucking out of control. Look all I want.
I liked it.
It was a good day. Shit. I should have asked Matt out. No, I'll just be like, this is China. All day I dream about sex. China? Yakuza? Bullshit Yakuza. Fucking
China? China! China!
Fucking Metal Gear over here.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
Dramatic music plays as China runs screaming.
Michael! Michael! I think that's it.
Yeah, I think so too.
Cool.
Okay.
All right. See you next week.
Bye.
9.95. Emotion is feeling so high. 9.95. In overdrive. Put your body in overdrive. 9.95.